Hello, everyone. Satsanga's Astrology. I come today to speak about next year, 2022. And I am going to do an overview like a bird view, very quickly about the major events, astrological events for 2022, including the transits of the major planets or outer planets, and also the eclipses and the nodal axis. So let's get started. I will now share a chart showing you how we start this new year. So here it is. This is the start of the new year with all the planets starting this date on December 15, right after about 10-11 days after the eclipse. All the planets will be on one side of the nodal axis. So as you see, Mars is the last one to enter the tail of the dragon, right? And the moon is still within, near the mouth of the dragon or the head of the dragon. And this is in Eastern astrology, it's called Kalsarpa Yoga. And it's thought that all the planets are constricted in the body by the body of this monster, right? The monster of Rahu and Ketu, who it's like being squeezed, is like the big squeeze. And this is rare, but it's not too rare since it happens every year for a few months. So let me give you the dates because this starts December 15, 2021, and it lasts until April 23rd, 2022. So what does it mean? So if you compare, for example, to last year, it was from January 14 to February the 20th, 2021. And except for 2 weeks during each month when the moon escapes the dragon, right? All the planets, including the moon, are on one side. And this Kalsarpa Yoga is from Ketu to Rahu, meaning that we are squeezed from the past and pushing towards the future. So, but in Eastern astrology, this is something that brings very unfortunate events. So it is, according to them, it's very unfortunate influences, and it's kind of a crunch and a squeeze, as I said, between the past and the future. It's like we're pushing. And if you observe the chart that is now on the screen, all the planets are either in the end signs of the zodiac, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, and the beginning of the zodiac. So we are clearly seeing the closing cycle in humanity that hasn't happened for a long, long time, and a new beginning. So these are big cycles that the humanity are experiencing for the first time in ages. So, but the unfortunate influence that this configuration brings is that it may disturb the human mind very strongly, and it may cause aggression, turmoil, more than we have now, right? And even madness. So it can cause viral diseases, human and animal deaths by the thousands, right? Chaos, confusion, and conflicts all over the earth, political earthquakes, or sudden changes and unexpected changes, and also dispute at the personal level, the business level, and even relationships between countries. So there are partnership breakups, business failures, illnesses, natural calamities, family unrest and disputes, economic instability, and even economic downturn, depression, inflation that we are already seeing, but that will be exacerbated. So, but as a opening, right? This is the opening curtain of the year. We also have the USA Pluto return. And if you haven't watched my USA Pluto return series, I have several, I think 6 videos about it. I invite you to watch those videos in my channel. They are under a playlist, so you can watch them from number 1 to number 6, and it gives you in-depth panorama about what the process is all about. Well, why is it important? Well, of course, so far, USA has been the leading leader country in the world. It has affected and impacted all cultures of the world with the culture, the economy, and so much more. So anything that happens in the United States will, of course, affect the rest of the world, especially because it is a crucial event. It will happen exactly on February 22nd, 2022, which you see all those twos that represent the polarity that is already brewing in the country, the duality and the conflict between two factions, political factions, and so many other issues that are polarized in the United States, like Democrat Party with the Republican Party, the East with the West, and so many more issues that are polarized. I mentioned that in my previous November lunation video as well. So it is crucial for the whole world because it is about finances. So the Pluto return in the US chart falls in the sign of Capricorn, and it is the second house of the chart. So it is all about the treasury, the finances, the economic power of the country, and in turn, of course, will affect the stock markets all over the world. There are already in volatility due to Uranus in Taurus, right? That is causing havoc everywhere. So with Uranus in Taurus, we can say anything can happen, all unexpected and difficult to predict, of course, but we are already seeing the signs. So you can as I said, watch more in depth my analysis in my channel about the USA Pluto return. Another important event is the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction that happens April 12, 2022. And I have a blog article in very detailed historical precedents, antecedents that what happened in the previous time, because Jupiter and Neptune met in Pisces last time in 1856. So I refer you to my blog article about the details and what happened last time, right? So this is an event that happened more than 100 years ago, and it won't happen for many more years, probably the same amount of years later on. So this is very important to take into account as well, and not only for the states, but for the whole world. So the mundane effects could be flooding, right? Pisces is the ocean, the rising of the sea levels, toxic gases in the atmosphere, changes in the air composition because of those gases. So massive displacement of people because of natural catastrophes caused by flooding, especially, but not only. And then also Pisces is the sign of charity. So those displacements and migrations of people will be very hard to contain because they will be in dire straits. And so there will be a humanitarian crisis because of that. So if we have experienced very catastrophic floodings so far, we will see more accentuated this when Jupiter and Neptune are together in Pisces, and especially when they conjoin. So I refer you again to my article where I wrote extensively about that, but there will be very difficult to put boundaries between countries because people will not be able to contain those migrations. They will be uncontrolled. And also the other, I think the other factor will be that this air travel crisis that we just start seeing in the United States, I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but it will spread out for different reasons or reasons that we don't know right now, but I think air travel will diminish a lot, and it may be also due to the increase in illnesses. Pisces is a sign very well known for the spread of fungi, virus, bacteria. You know, the ocean is the soup where all organisms brew, right? So anything can grow, especially adding the magnifying influence of Jupiter. So there could be collective chaos, even madness, and people can access also the collective unconsciousness, and that can cause a lot of confusion and deranged thinking minds. So there could be also dissolution of international trade, and we are already seeing signs of problems with long distance transportation, problems with distribution of merchandise. So international trade, I think, will either suffer, or at the same time, it could be more pronounced or more extensive. So also justice, which is Jupiter, may suffer as well, and or they could be all encompassing laws and global justice. So you see that there could be laws that apply to the whole humanity. Also, increase in the mix of cultures in a way that we achieve one culture, right? That we have so much contact with other cultures that we integrate them all together. So that will be it could be positive and it could be negative, because there's always people, there's always xenophobia, right? That people don't tolerate other cultures or other religions. And you know, having sectors of the population trying to impose their culture or their religion on others. So personal effects could be difficulty keeping mental clarity, especially in regards to the worldwide view or the higher understanding of the world and the cosmos. There could be also expansion in knowledge and understanding of the cosmos itself. There has been already, since Jupiter was for a few months in Pisces, we saw discoveries in the universe, planets that all of a sudden were discovered in other solar systems, and all kinds of things that were discovered then. So it will expand the global vision of people, and understanding, there will be more understanding or perception of the global situation as such. So the vision could be confusing for people, because our higher mind will be stretched really to try to incorporate all those things, new things that are discovered, and our cosmos and our world could be expanded tenfold, right? So creating crises, for example, of beliefs, new cosmologies, and religious crises, because as well, our beliefs, Jupiter will be expanded to the max with Neptune, and there will be a new factors and new information that may completely challenge the old beliefs, religious beliefs, right? So, but on the also negative influences could be that addictions could be increased. People can try to escape this influence, and there may be more people who are already addicted, may be prone to overdose and even death. So other addictions may become unbridled, and so the escapism could be incremented. But on the positive side, for example, there could be more freedom for the arts, like new kinds of music, photography, and film. Particularly, those are artistic expressions, very supported by Neptune in Pisces, right? Especially music and film, the representation of spiritual realities, or things that we can feel but we cannot grasp with our rational mind. So people who are already spiritually awakened or have a spiritual practice may have their intuition increased, and they may have stronger psychic powers as well, and able to see through the veil into even past lives or the spiritual realm. But as I said, people who are less developed, there could suffer because it's so overwhelming. So this reality could be very overwhelming. So by the end of 2021, like a Christmas present, we will have the last quarter square of Saturn and Uranus, Saturn in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus. And that is not the end of the story, of their story, right? Because Saturn and Uranus will keep in orb for a longer time, probably until November 2022. And there will be, in October, there will be for a few days, very, very close, minutes away from each other at 19 degrees. So the 19 degrees of Taurus and Aquarius. And they will have just a few minutes of difference. So it's almost another square, let's say a fourth square that they are forming. So as the third quarter square is the crisis in consciousness. Remember, this cycle started in 1988 in Sagittarius, and what they have promoted, you bet, globalization. So everything was magnified, international trade, everything went global. So now, and the crisis in consciousness square, which is the last square between them before they meet again, is like having the consciousness of what we have done, and in being evaluating the benefits, right, of the globalization, and the downward the adverse consequences of too much expansion, right? Jupiter Sagittarius likes to go farther and farther and wider and broader, and having no boundaries is not good either, right? Now we have to face the Sagittarian excesses and start discriminating what is good, what is not, right? And we see the consequences for the earth, resources, the climate, but thanks to the surge of internet businesses back then in '88 and so and on, and the long distance travel, right? People started traveling, and there was transportation of anything, anywhere, right? There was no boundaries. You wanted an item, and you could buy it in India and make it come to the any country in America, and you no problem, right? So, but people started accumulating things for the sake of having, and buy two for the price of one. But what I have experienced in my own personal life is that my energy bill and my water bill say that the more I consume, the less I paid. So you were actually punished for not consuming so much. So for consuming less, you were paying even more money. So that especially in the, as you will see later on when I speak about the nodal axis shift into Taurus and Scorpio, you will see that energy, right, and all basic resources will be challenged, and we will have problems. So these planets, Saturn and Uranus, will meet again in 2032 in the sign of Gemini. So we're going back to local. Gemini is the sign of your environment, your neighborhood, your siblings, your city, right? So we're going back local. And also Gemini represents polarity. So we can expect you can expect the duality to be more, after that conjunction, there will be the cycle, right? The cycle of many, many years about polarization, about the East with the West, and all that kind of stuff. So the news about shortages that we have now and transportation problems will incentive the local industry, and the production will take local, and also we will develop personal responsibility for our self-sufficiency, for becoming autonomous on the production of things that we need, and we will not go right to China to get our goods anymore. So the local industries will be stimulated, and we will probably go back to the store, the neighborhood store, you know, the corner store, where you bought the small things that you needed for daily, right? So the last quarter square, as I said, is the crisis in consciousness, which means that we suddenly have to face and realize the consequences of the overexpansion. So now humanity has been becoming aware of the globalization evils, right? And we realize that it's unsustainable. Saturn in Aquarius will be there for a few more years, right? And even though it will not be squaring Uranus after in 2023, but Saturn Aquarius will work, as you will see, with the nodal axis in restraining, controlling. And I took all these ideas from Cosmos and Psyche from Richard Tarnas, right? Saturn is contraction, is repression, right? And in Aquarius is society, right? The associations, the alliances will be alienated, and the collective will suffer the consequences of the globalization. So it is a little bit like Aquarius is more the concern of the collective against the individualistic and egocentric Leo, right? So we are in the process of acquiring collective consciousness and understanding our incidence in the collective, the actions that we do affect the collective, right? So Saturn will make us face the consequences of the past actions. It will make us experience the retribution of our actions, and sometimes it could be punishment. It depends on the area, right, of the domain that is affected, but certainly Saturn Aquarius can bring depression, oppression, pessimism, and also Saturn in Aquarius will make us understand that we need to be we need to learn discipline. We need to learn endurance and take responsibility, look for security in our actions, and put limits to that expansion. We cannot continue in that unsustainable way. Yeah. So Saturn can make us go to the essentials and eliminating anything that's superfluous. So everything that you have accumulated in your garage, or the rental storage that you have full of useless things that you haven't even touched for 10 years, those will have to be used in some way, or discarded, right? Or shared with other people because of the need. So we will have to use the resources efficiently and come back to more durable things instead of the Chinese industry, that bad quality that you bought it and you used it once and then you threw it away. Well, Saturn will make us face the reality that we are now two bare bones, and we need to be careful of our consumption. So we have already seen that many places are flooded, but many other places are in very deep drought. So we can count on scarcity as well because of our overreach, overexpansion, all right, overproduction, overconsumerism. Saturn is promoting the rational organization of the collective, and that may bring restrictions, as I said, constraints and contraction of the economic situation, and that's unavoidable because it's a natural result of our expansion and overspending and over wasting things, resources. So one little note here is that that Saturn will be squaring almost all the eclipses in 2022. Some of them more closely than others, but Saturn will be present in all of them. And at some point, it will square the nodes themselves. So now, the nodes of the moon are changing, as you may know, in January to Taurus and Scorpio axis. And this is the axis of energy, of financial and financial matters and resources, and is also the axis of the management of those resources and money and energy. So as you see, we are now facing an energy crisis. So eclipses bring disturbances and changes in energy production and distribution of resources. So we may count on rethinking the way we use the earth resources, the fruits of the earth. I mean, earth has been so good to us and gives us so much that by now, she is completely exhausted. So I'm going to show you later on, I'm going to show you the eclipses charts so you can appreciate their configuration. But for now, I'm going to say that the Scorpio South Node, or Ketu in Scorpio, rules the resources under the earth. So like under the surface of the earth, the resources that you need to dig in order to bring out, like oil, gas, minerals, metals, and any raw material that is underneath the earth, even water, because we will be mining for water. So also corresponds to debt and codependence on others, like loans, mortgages, you know, and finances that are not independent. So when you take a loan, you become a slave of the bank or the person that you took the loan from, right? So all this is going out because Ketu drains everything. So we will have a hard time finding those raw materials and energies that we need. We will have trouble keeping our shared finances, and we will be called to Taurus energy to become more independent, to you know, cultivate the land ourselves and to take care of the land, and not only the land, the products of the land, but also cattle, right? Taurus is, after all, the is the sign of the bull, right? So cattle, the agriculture, and Taurus will ask you to make your own money, yeah, and become independent by acquiring your own resources. So it is like taking the bull by the horns, right? And Uranus is the main actor during the eclipses, but the eclipses, as I said, will be in square with Saturn. Saturn is bringing sobering of our needs, sobering of our desires, Taurus, right? Sobering of our consumption. Taurus, the Taurus matters will be the struggle for survival, right? Looking for the energy that we need, using the energy and the resources efficiently. We're done with the overproduction, with the bad quality industry, and those items that are used once and then you trash them. We will keep our material property for longer, and we will look for better quality, right? Taurus wants durable things. Taurus wants things to last for a long time. So we are done with the consumerism, any need to buy and buy and buy and to have. We're done with that, with accumulation, with hoarding. So your garage will be very happy, and you will be very happy not to have to pay for storage elsewhere in order to keep your stuff, right? And we will have to declutter at the same time. You know, Scorpio is the sign of transformation. You may use old things to make new things at the same time, because Scorpio likes to use whatever is deteriorating and fix it and make it new. So let's go back to the essential needs of life, or as I said very often, let's go back to the bare necessities of life. So And talking about Taurus, the ruler of Taurus is Venus. And we start the year with Venus retrograde in Capricorn. Not only that, but Venus is retrograde in Capricorn for about 5 months, and she will be together with the rulers, both rulers of Scorpio, Mars and Pluto. So it's like it's a complot, you know, they are together plotting our life. So they are working together. They will bring more sovereign influence because Capricorn is the sign of let's say frugality, of and there will be a reality check on our values, right? Venus retrograde will make us rethink what we value, what is important, what is essential, right? In Taurus, Taurus looks for the essential energy, the food that you eat that will nourish you. So you will probably change your eating habits as well. Of course, it depends on where Taurus and Scorpio fall in your personal chart, but in general, for the world, for humanity, we will change the way we eat. Certainly. First of all, there might be, as I said in my previous video, the November lunation cycle that you can watch in my YouTube channel. I said that we will see probably problems, illnesses of the cattle. So again, make sure that you eat meat that is clean. There could be surprises, Uranus and Taurus, with cattle. And that has happened previously in previous years when the eclipses happened in Taurus and Scorpio. So look back to that video, you will get good information about that. So the reality check in Capricorn will be also about the financial system, banking, the way you earn money, the way you spend your money, the way you share your resources and your money. And certainly we are already seeing the money value has gone down, and it will go down even more. And there could be a replacement with other kind of money that may not call money, I don't know. But it's already in the making, right? But the axis of lunar nodes in Taurus and Scorpio will be definitely working on changing the economic system in general. But for the time of Venus, Mars, and Pluto in Capricorn, we may go through a period of lack of resources, scarcity, and barren land as well, increased drought as well. Capricorn is a very barren sign, right? It's rocks, it's mountains, it's deserts, it's not green at all. So you can expect the natural catastrophes that Uranus and Taurus will bring will leave the land barren for whatever reason, right? Even if it is a flooding and then the drought sets up. We cannot, with Uranus, we cannot say exactly what is going to happen, but having Venus and Mars and Pluto together in Capricorn talks volumes about how this will happen. So by the end of the year, Mars will be retrograde, like he does every 2 years about, in the sign of Gemini. And the dates will be turned retrograde October 30th, 2022. And it will turn direct January 12, 2023. So the shadow of Mars will be from September 4th, 2022 to March 17, 2023. And the degrees of the retrograde will be 8 degrees 07 minutes to 25 degrees and 37 minutes. And I will talk more during the year about the retrograde cycles, but this is just an overview. But Mars retrograde in Gemini will take your actions local, take your work local, take your desires local, right? To your city, to your neighborhood, to your family, even your tribe, right? Your small tribe. So you can count on that for 2023 and on. So the eclipses. The eclipses for the United States will fall in the 12th and the 6th houses. So for the 12 house eclipses, there will be underground movements, secret societies, and occult groups. Also, there could be secret deals in politics and finances, right? Pluto, ruler of Scorpio in Capricorn. So there could be a lot of secret deals in politics. So it also, 12 houses is associated with organizations where you go for isolation. So there could be isolation needed. There could be a lot of people in the hospitals and maybe in prisons, asylums, and institutions governing those who are infirm, weak, or in need of support as a result. So it is also the welfare state, right? Welfare is like equivalent to charity. So there could be more homeless people because of the downturn in the economy, and many people wounded or infirm because of illnesses. So the 12 and the 6 houses have to do with health and healing and the healthcare. So the 6th house of the nation it also rules the food reserves, coincidentally with the nodal axis, right? Especially grains and granaries and the farming industry. So those eclipses, as I said, will work in the 6 and 12 houses of the United States. So look at your country where those eclipses fall, and those are the themes that will be active. So 6th house of a nation is also the public records, libraries, bookkeepers, archivists, public data clerks, the working class, public employees, and services, social services like civil service, the armed forces, the police that serve the people, the Labor Party, factories, trade unions, social security services, unemployment insurance, disability allowances, and in general, the healthcare, right? The healthcare system. So the public health is shown more in the 1st house, and that will be affected by the December 4th, 2021 eclipse that will fall exactly on the ascendant by degree of the United States of America chart, 12 degrees of Sagittarius. So you can count on the health of people affected by that eclipse. So as you see, we're not out of the woods yet, even though many people think we are. So, but the sixth house, according to Deborah Halding, the sixth house of the nation highlights periods of national vulnerability to epidemics and widespread diseases. So, eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio in general. And let me show you the charts. The first eclipse will be the partial solar eclipse in 10 degrees 28 minutes of Taurus, and it will happen April 30th, 2022. So it will be visible between the tip of South America and the west tip of the Antarctic Peninsula. And it's conjunct Uranus and square, and Saturn will be squaring the nodes. Saturn will be kind of far from the eclipse degree, but it will be squaring the nodes. So let me show you now the chart for new share for the solar eclipse. This one. Let's see if I got it right. Okay, we can close this one. Okay, let me make it bigger for you. I don't know how you see it, if it is big or not, but I will make it bigger just so I can see it. April 30th, 2022. So as you see, we have Chiron on the ascendant. Of course, it's the world chart starting with Aries. So it is not surprising that we are in a pandemic, because Chiron is on the ascendant of the world chart, and it will be until 2023 or 26. It seems 2026. Don't remember correctly, but thereabouts. So here we have 10 degrees 28, and Uranus is 14 degrees, and Saturn is 24. As I said, it's far from the eclipse, but is almost exactly squaring the nodes. It has squared the nodes maybe 2 or 3 weeks before. So as you see, with Uranus, anything can happen. So let me show you the next one. The next eclipse will be the lunar eclipse here in Scorpio. And this is, let me close this and make this one bigger. And there's several elements on the screen, so I need to juggle them. Okay, so this one happens May 15, 2022, and is a Scorpio lunar eclipse at 25 degrees of Scorpio, 2518. It is a total lunar eclipse, and because of so close to the nodal axis, and well, Uranus is 8 degrees or 10 degrees apart, so it's not so close, but still in the same sign of Taurus. So And now Saturn is squaring the moon and the sun and the nodal axis. So this will be visible. Let me see. So this one will be visible in all the American continent, especially east of North America and the entire South America and Antarctica. And as I said, Saturn will be strongly squaring, but Uranus is about 10 degrees apart. So now Saturn brings his sovereign, to be sovereign, right? Sovereign influence. The next one is the Scorpio solar eclipse, this time, October 25th, 2022. And this is very interesting because it's in central Russia. It is visible in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and it is partile with Venus, ruler of Taurus. So let me change and show you the chart. October solar eclipse. Let me close this one and make this one bigger. So here you are, October 25, and the degree is 2 degrees exact of Scorpio. And is partile almost by 40 minutes with Venus, the ruler of Taurus. And plus Uranus and the North Node are just 4 degrees apart. So we can consider this to be double Uranus. In Eastern astrology, the North Node is considered to have an energy similar to Uranus. So you can count on having Uranus magnified here. So as you see, Venus in an eclipse, partile in Scorpio. We will talk more about it. Mars is in Gemini here. So we will talk more about it. And Mars is about to turn retrograde, is stationary, which is one of the rulers of Scorpio, right? So Pluto is approaching the USA Pluto return. It's just less than 1 minute away. So this could be a crucial eclipse. So next one is November 7th and 8th, 2022, and it's at 16 degrees Taurus. It is a lunar eclipse, and it's seen in the whole Pacific Ocean, East Russia, west of North America, east of Australia. So this time is the eclipse is partile Uranus, Mercury is with the sun, very, very closely square Saturn. So let me show you the chart, and you will appreciate the so here it is. I'll make it bigger for you. So see here, 16 degrees 01 Taurus is the lunar eclipse, and the sun is with Mercury here almost together, just by 9 minutes, 9 minutes away. And it's very close, so it's certainly almost or total eclipse. with the nodes of the moon. And of course, and this is an eclipse that is partile with Uranus. So here we have the sun together with Mercury, and announcements, right? Surprising announcements, because Uranus is partile with the moon. So this one could be very, very intense, to say the least. And we have Jupiter and Neptune very close together as well. So as you see, let's stop sharing, and let me open my notes here. As you see, it's going to be a challenging year. There's so many things that happen, let's say, every many years, like Jupiter conjunction Neptune in Pisces. It hasn't happened for more than 100 years, more than 140 something years. The other thing is the last quarter square with Saturn and Uranus that lingers all the year long until the very end. I would say in the November, we can feel the influence as they finally separate. So those are things that didn't happen every day, right? So those are new influences that we're not used to. And the other thing is to, that I already mentioned before, is to having those slow outer planets in the last signs of the zodiac, like Pluto in Capricorn, Saturn in Aquarius, Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. So those are slow moving planets that are lingering in the last quarter of the zodiac, which is talking about closing a cycle and making it very intense, right? And we will feel it. So to close, what you can do now is to revise your values, because next year you will be forced to review your values and review your finances and make decisions, make serious decisions about how you make money, how you sustain your life, how you go about sustaining your family, and how you go about acquiring the basic bare necessities, right, of life. So I wish you the best, and as always, you can contact me with the readings that you may, personal readings that you may need. Let me show you my contact information. Let me share the screen again and show you my contact information. Here it is. So you can find me in Instagram, MeWe, Tumblr, Facebook, but most importantly, I write a blog called Satsang at astrology.blogspot.com. I will put the links to the articles I mentioned during the video in the description box below, so you can make a reference and read, for example, about Jupiter conjunct Neptune in Pisces, and also the links to the USA Pluto return playlist in YouTube and things like that. So if you value and like my work, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell so you are notified of every time I publish a new video. You're welcome to make a donation as well. And here you have my email address if you are needing your personal reading. Please don't hesitate to email me your questions and such. Thank you for watching, and I wish you a great 2022. Goodbye.